Hello again, beautiful internet people. So today's going to be a little bit different of a video, more of an old school one for me, but mostly a detox away from current toxic cultural norms. You know, I enjoy a good detox, so if you're not interested in like video game content or, you know, hearing about rambling life stories, then this probably isn't for you. But, for the rest of you that want to stick around, you can get some coffee going, get relaxed, and get a little bit comfy because, a lot of the time we spend, going off about the culture and all of that, and I don't know if a lot of people these days anymore even properly know how to relax or want to, but I think it's important to take breaks away from the current milieu that we're invested in, to escape the degenerate culture that's constantly evolving around us, constantly disgracing our senses with its continued filth. And that's all I'm gonna have to say about it. Find did I just find a decent way to escape from the horrors of modern day. And for me, a decent form of escapism is video games. So, that's at least where I'm coming from. And so I would like to talk about the whole luck and how to be lucky in, all things, including the medieval point-and-click simulator. And you can apply these principles to, the real world from the medieval point-and-click simulator. You don't have to particularly take a lot of this advice and, strictly just assume it's only related to video games, because putting yourself in a situation to be lucky sometimes is a lot more favorable than, say, not. And so why do I say that, putting yourself in a situation to be lucky is important? Putting yourself in a situation to be lucky means that, you're in the available place where good things can happen to you, right? And, if you put yourself in a place where you can be unlucky, it's not exactly, I'm not saying bad things happening to you are your fault. I'm not like victim blaming you if, you're walking down a dark alleyway at night and you're wearing revealing clothing, Some might say you get what you deserve, but you're putting yourself in a position to be unlucky, which is disadvantageous to yourself. Whereas let's say you're some strong, young, empowered woman, you're putting yourself in a university where you can build connections with all the other strong, empowered people that might lead to career opportunities and a lot more, That's how at least most people find their way through the world, is through these, nepotism-laden connections, which is the real purpose of university and pretty much always has been. The slow march through the institutions has made all of the institutions sort of degenerate like that. And so what do I mean though by luck in this game? So we can just take my Iron meme for an example, right? My Iron Man has been obscenely lucky. So I recently started Slayer, and I did a little bit of PVM, a little bit of trolling before Slayer. Like, I didn't do very much Slayer at all until very recently. My skills are getting close to max now, so I kind of have to focus on the slay. It's finally done with clicking on things, with being mostly AFK. Now I have to finish off Slayer, and I'm one level off getting my occult necklace, which means I will go back to PVMing shortly. It's only 250,000 EXP away. It's only that far away. And I will open up my collection log and we will go through my degeneracy, my luck, and my sort of plan, and maybe I'll talk about my, where I came from, just my history with RuneScape, and, maybe my life story. Why not? We'll just have fun. After all, this is a relaxation video. This isn't your jam if you're just looking for, like, the standard rage bait content on the internet. That's fine. But, it's always good to detox, and it's pointless to accidentally have cleaned those herbs, but, I am not a smart man. I am just a medieval clicking enthusiast, one could say. But yeah, so making yourself available to be lucky is an important concept, and you can shape at least your life plans and your life goals around the potential that you could get lucky, right? You can say to yourself, well, there's a pretty high chance that, if I, for instance, wish to pursue vocational school, that going to a vocational school, interacting with people there is going to lead to, employment opportunities. And I was almost blessed. I almost got to go to a vocational school, but I'll get a bit to that in my life story section later on, once we're done looking at the degenerate collection log. Ooh, I'm baiting, I'm making you wait. I'm delaying your gratification on seeing my Iron Memes degenerate drops. How could I? How could I do this to you? It's okay, you'll live, I'm sure. You're a big, strong internet person. You're a beautiful person. You can live through it. You will manage, in fact, I will say. You will make it. We're all going to make it. Maybe not fully, but I will give you a hint then after this herb patch. I'll give you a little bit before we do the birdhouse run, just to keep you on the edge of your seat. Alright, I will actually click this through to make it go slightly faster. There we go. Alright. We're going to go to raids. Oh yeah. So this was a 13 KC Twisted Bow, by the way, and you're going to wonder what I was doing at raids this early on the account, right? Because ideally I'm a delayed gratification person. I'd like to do things, at the latest possible moment where they're still beneficial, because the advantages then stack on top of each other, right? Basic thinking, basic medium-sized brain stuff, right? You can apply that principle to pretty much anything in life, where if you stack your money, you put it in a safe investment, like, so, I don't know, dividends, something like that, and then you get periodic, slow returns, put in one of those dividends that, disclaimer, not financial advice, but one of those dividends that have paid out since, I don't know, before the Great Depression. That's generally a good place to start looking. You can experience the glories. So I guess I'll go through the plan, or why I was at raids now. So when I started the account, I decided to start with TOA, actually. I wanted to get a Fang just because I thought it would be super useful for a lot of PVM and Slayer. Spoilers, it has been amazingly useful. Like, my idea for Slayer was to get 95 rune crafting so that I could get a decent level of prayer without training it, and that has happened. I will realistically be pretty close to 99 prayer just from my Slayer grind alone if I continue to focus on fighting mainly demons, mainly Necreals and Abyssal demons, which my block list favors extremely, and I Turiel skip aggressively. I will not kill trolls or something. I don't care about points. I don't need them after my block list is set up. I'll need one more block list transition to Hydra, and then one back to whatever final state I'm interested in leaving the Slayer in. I'm going to get 99 Slayer and probably not touch it until new Slayer content is released on the Ironman. I have way too many things that I need to farm on the Ironman in specific to get min-maxed gear, but that is coming up. So let's go through how lucky I have been on the Ironman, and why my Ironman is in fact luckier than yours. Or maybe even the luckiest Ironman, because I've never seen RNG like me. So anyways, back to raid. So I went to TOA, got a 75 KC Fang, starting off the account. That was pretty useful. Then I went and I did, standard bosses. I got 300 something Magic Fang on Zulrah. Overall, my Zulrah luck was pretty bad, but I went back post-Twisted Bow, so these kills were still extremely enjoyable, and I needed a Tanzanite Fang post-Twisted Bow, obviously, so that's why I went back until that dropped. And, so I haven't done any Taubers yet, just one entry mode for the quest. I am on rate. I get around 30,000 points per raid, so I have seen the exact amount of purples I want. I will be going back to doing raids once I hit 93 Slayer for the occult, just because I want a little bit better gear for soloing. And yeah, and if we can just go through, I haven't unlocked Hydra yet. My Barrows, I did in fact complete the Elite Mauritania, as you've just seen. 210 chests to get a single 4-piece. Very good. Very minimal dupes. This is a disgustingly amazing Barrows logs. I don't know many people that have that. I have pretty much all the relevant pieces here. Full Guthans if I wanted to be cheesy at some points. My Cerberus luck was absolutely out of this world. 33 KC for both the Eternal and the Primordial Crystal. Get out of here. People dream about having this level of RNG, by the way. This is disgusting. I haven't killed any of these bosses. I think I did, one trip at Zilly, just to get it. My Dagannoth King's luck was obscene when I went there. A whole 12 kills to get the Zerk Ring and the Axe. I will need to go back for a Seer's Ring when I do get a Shadow, and I will have to upgrade that through Duke. I've only killed one just for the chest. I green-logged Gauntlet at 245 KC. I think I went back and did a few more. I think this was actually lower, but I went back and did a few more to finish off some combat achievements for some reason. yeah, I've barely killed him. It doesn't even matter. Hespori has been an unlucky spot for me on the account. That was less than ideal. Calphite Queen has been pretty good. 100 for KQ head. One of these dragon pickaxes actually was from King Black Dragon that I just do sometimes when I get up a dragon task and I feel like it. Kriara, of course, the plan for the account changed post Twisted Bow, where I wanted to min-max my range gear. I have a Missouri top as well, so I just want to get the 8 shards. I'm actually currently on an Avience's task, but I kind of wanted to just snapshot the RNG of the account. The hill was a less than lucky drop. I can make it when I get a God Shard 1 from somewhere, but the legs were amazing. If I get a chest, I can break until I get the Missouri top, or I mean not the Missouri top, but the Missouri helmet. But until then, if I get a chest, it's fine. It's likely I'm probably going to get some combination of dupes, but as long as it adds up to 8 total shards, I don't really care. As long as I can keep the legs, I'll just fortify the chest and I'll leave for now. I only did 1 kill just for the diary. Like, getting Casey there is easy. I haven't killed any of these bosses, really. Scotizo, who cares? I don't have a pet. It's like a 1 in 60 or something. I've had kind of bad pet luck on the account. I actually wish I got the Toma Water just because I could use Catherby Teleport then instead of the portal in my Nexus for farm runs that you just saw. That would be nice, but it doesn't matter. Again, Vorkath, I've only killed 50. I needed 1 head to make the assembler and then 1 head to imbue my range capes with the Vorkath's head effect. If you didn't know, you can use a Vorkath's head on your ranging cape. So I can use that at places like Armado where I would like a little bit more defenses. And yeah, so I've been pretty much disgustingly lucky, disgustingly spooned everywhere I've went, thankfully, And let's see, all pets. I've only gotten 2 pets, which, whatever. I don't care about pets. I did Greenlog Loth's experiments. This was probably the only place I've gone dry. I was 1,800 kills before I saw a single Zenite. I don't think I got a single Zenite within 300 kills of each other, so I went dry on all 4 of these. That's how you get, it's a 1 out of 300 something, very small 300. That's how you have, 4 out of 10, basically, that I should have gotten. That's the only bad spot on the account, but again, you can't be lucky everywhere. You can just be mostly lucky. And yeah, I haven't really bothered. I'm not a clogger, so I don't really care too much. Medium treasure trails are the only ones I care about. By the time I'm maxed, hopefully I'll get the Ranger boots and the Devout boots from these. If I don't, I will actually farm them at that point, but I'm not going to waste time with them before then, That's just tedious. But yeah, so, and you might be saying you think a little bit too deeply about your, children's clicking game, right? And, a lot of my gaming life started with RuneScape, actually, so I would argue I think more than enough about it. I think, not that I don't think more than enough about it, that I think just the right amount about it, personally, but, to each their own. This is mostly just, an enjoyable video where I'm just ranting about, my life and such. So, my life story is actually kind of boring. My father was a somewhat famous musician, so we spent a lot of our time traveling. So that facilitated me having to be homeschooled along with my sister. So, there wasn't that much to go on really, or that interesting of a life. So I spent most of my time on the computer, obviously, Didn't really have any friends outside the family because homeschooled, tight-knit shenanigans, all of that. It's kind of tough to develop those sort of relationships when you don't have any means to connect with people. And yeah, so I started, my gaming started with Diablo when I was a little brat, a little kid at the time. I started to play the Diablos, and before that I messed around with all sorts of random games, whatever sort of garbage was on there. It's tough to remember where I started exactly. I think it was consoles. My brother-in-law from Israel came and visited us, and he brought over his consoles, and I think that was the first video games that I actually played, and he was a lot older than me at the time, so, that must have been, either the regular Nintendo or the Super or something would be the first video games I played, but the first game I got really into would have been, classic RuneScape, the old RuneScape. Beyond Diablo 2 and StarCraft Brood War, those were kind of in the same vein where I got into them before, but, the account's looking really nice, 2.5 bill. Don't look at the gear tab, it hasn't been organized. The teleport tab is kind of a mess as well, but you get the picture, the herbalism tab. This is the Slayer drop table. how much is in here? Quite a bit. So this is mostly just PVM drops and stuff I have to cook that have dropped from PVM, so, or temporos or whatever, so, yeah, but, let's see. So I started playing actually in RuneScape Classic, so I've been playing this game since, 2001, I believe. And I played the heck out of this game before World of Warcraft came out. And World of Warcraft, of course, like many other people of my generation, ruined my hacking life, but that's neither here nor there. And yeah, so for a game I've been playing that long, my medieval point-and-click adventure, I would say I think the exact right amount about it. I've definitely spent a lot of time playing this game, and I enjoy it, And then, as for putting yourself into positions to get lucky, for instance, I originally wanted to be a mortician. I was homeschooled. I actually got my GED because that's what you do when you're homeschooled. If you want to go to university, get your GEDs, you do your SAT, ACTs, whatever. I had scholarship opportunities from that, and I wanted to basically, my original goal was to actually become a mortician. And you can only imagine how mortified my socialite parents were about the entire prospect, right? They, told me, I don't know about that, son. You're kind of a bit too smart. Aren't you good with the computery things? Why not go to university for the zeros and the ones? Why not do something like that instead of, playing with corpses? And I was pretty dead set on actually becoming a mortician, I was on the vocational school pipeline. I went to go visit one of the places that would have been where I would have been training, I was in there like swimwear, and my parents were just absolutely denied it. Eventually, it became a sort of a, if you do this, you may or may not get disowned from the family sort of our business, so I kind of backed away from the mortuary thing. This was when I was 16. I also was going to go early. I went and got my GED at 16, because why bother, right? Like, I was bored of staying at home, and I wanted to go experience the real world. And I had recently gotten basically expelled from high school. My sister and I went for like 6 months or whatever. It didn't work out well. So I was like, okay, so high school is not going to work out. They found my knife in my locker. I had beat up some kids because they said something bad about me. I was a little bit of a ruffian when I was younger. I didn't understand the cultural norms because I was homeschooled. So I figured, okay, in the TV shows, when someone insults you, you have to prove your honor and then physically assault them back. Or when they insult you. And then, you have to assault them. So that was the understanding I was operating under. And the real world actually does not work like the TV. Shocking, I know, but this was brand new to me when I was a teenager, and my infinite naivete. So yeah. So then, after that point, I kind of went and I focused on, my studies. I got a degree in computer information systems, minor in physics, all of that, and then I went and did freelance computer programming, networked a little bit with people, just mostly like stay-at-home, work-from-home programming stuff. That's how I sustained myself all the way up through like the Elysium launch and, my gaming endeavors there. So, I still kind of wish I'd went to school as a mortician. I think that would have been a much better career choice for me. I can only imagine what kind of life I had taken if I had gotten to actually do what I wanted with my life, but you exist as part of a circle, you have obligations to a family, you kind of have to deal with it at some point, and just bite the bullet and accept that that's just how things are going to be sometimes. So, it is what it is, but, through networking through university, back before it was as woke as today, it was still pretty bad back then because the slow march of the institutions, in fact, was a slow march to the institutions to the complete corruption they have today. There's still at least a tinge of value when I went, but if you're a kid these days, it's pointless to go, obviously. That kind of goes without saying, but there might be someone out there that isn't aware of that fact. And yeah, that was basically that. And then here we are, through delayed gratification and minimalism, retired at 36. I retired at 35 technically, but I'm 36 now. I'm an old man. And yeah, that was my old man ranting, detoxing, just enjoying life a bit. So, hopefully, you can at least find things that are important to you and things to enjoy in your life and start thinking about them and don't care what anyone else says about it. Peace, nerds.